My career started at Washington Township in 1973 when Washington Township first opened. I was there about 6 months, and then I took over for a Paul Barsky who started our medical group.
Mario was the first cardiologist at Kennedy and probably the second internal medicine physician at that time. Kennedy was in its infancy. It was rural. Farms were everywhere around the development of the hospital.
Mario's extremely actively involved with his patients. His patients love him. He spends time with them. He talks to them about anything they want to talk about, not just medicine. He really becomes part of their family.
Oftentimes, people's financial situation didn't affect how Mario treated them, and he would often barter. So he would be more than happy to do an ECG or a physical exam for a bushel of corn or tomatoes or squash or some kind of a vegetable from the local farmers.
I started a newsletter back in about 95. There are about over 140 of them now. I do about 10 a year, I guess, on average. And they were for the family practice docs, and they evolved into being for the house staff, both the interns, residents, and now the cardiology fellows. It's just clinical, practical information that you can use in the office every day.
Mario, from the onset of his career, has been interested in education and teaching. He's worked with all of our interns and residents, not only in the earlier years in the hospital, but even today, working with the residents in the office setting, teaching them clinical cardiology, and working with the cardiac fellows.
As a cardiologist, I definitely believe in physical fitness, and I figured that you have to lead by example. So way back in medical school, I gave up smoking, and then Michael Walder introduced me to running back in the early 70s when we were practicing together at Washington Township, and we continued that. And I ran also with Dr. Jerome Horowitz.
Mario's commitment to the community is reflected not just in his practice, but is evident by the growth of Kennedy over the past 25 to 30 years. That commitment to excellence and that commitment to the care of the populace of that township has enabled Kennedy to grow and prosper.
Well, Mario is very dedicated to his family and his children and his grandchildren.
Number one, I want to thank my wife who supported me through this and brought up my family while I was working all those hours. And then my friends and peers throughout the years, like Mike Walder, like Jerome Horowitz, like Al DiPiero, and Kennedy for enabling us to put all this into practice.
I think that Mario is deserving of the Beacon Award because of his contributions that he's made to Kennedy Hospital in education, quality of health care, building our hospital system in the Washington Township area.
Through my 37 years of practice, which has gone by unbelievably fast, I've enjoyed it. I'd like to thank my peers, the Kennedy system. Life is good.